Earth was a lively planet. Children played in parks, families enjoyed picnics, and people went about their daily lives without a worry. The sky was bright blue, and the sun shone down warmly on everyone. But on this day, everything changed. In the midst of a bustling city, a loud roar echoed through the streets. People looked up, shielding their eyes from the sun. Dark shadows blocked the light as a fleet of massive ships appeared in the sky. They were unlike anything anyone had ever seen before. The ships glimmered with strange colors, and their shapes were sharp and menacing. Panic spread like wildfire. "What are those things?" a young boy named Sam shouted, pointing at the sky. His mother grabbed his hand tightly, fear filling her eyes. "They must be a trick or a movie," she whispered, but deep down, she knew it was real. As the ships descended, the air became thick with tension. Within moments, they landed in the middle of the city, shaking the ground beneath them. Dust and debris filled the air as people ran in all directions. A loud voice boomed from the ships, speaking a language no one understood. The sound echoed, demanding attention. Then, with a loud hiss, the doors of the ships opened. Figures stepped out, tall and powerful, with skin that shimmered in shades of green and blue. They wore sleek armor, and their eyes glowed with an intense light. The humans had never seen creatures like this before. They were alien huntresses, fierce and beautiful, but terrifying all the same. The leader of the huntresses, a tall figure named Zura, stepped forward. Her presence commanded silence. "We come in search of sport," she announced, her voice cold and sharp. "You humans will be our prey." The crowd gasped. Fear took hold as people looked at one another, unsure of what to do. Sam's heart raced. He wanted to run but found himself frozen in place. The huntresses laughed, a chilling sound that echoed in the empty streets. "Your world will be our hunting ground," Zyra continued, her eyes scanning the crowd. "You will meet our needs, or you will suffer." As the huntresses spread out, chaos erupted. People screamed and fled. In the midst of the panic, a group of humans banded together. There was a soldier named Alex, a scientist named Dr. Mia, and a brave teenager named Lily. They quickly realized they needed to come up with a plan. "We can't just run," Alex said, his voice steady despite the fear surrounding them. "We need to figure out what they want and how we can fight back." Dr. Mia nodded. "I have some ideas. We can use technology to our advantage. They may be strong, but we have brains and skills." Lily, her eyes shining with determination, added, "We have to protect everyone. We can't let them take us down without a fight." They decided to gather as many people as possible and form a resistance. They knew they had to work together to stand a chance against the huntresses. As night fell, the city was eerily quiet. The huntresses set up camp, preparing for their first hunt. They roamed the streets, marking their territory, while the humans hid in the shadows, planning their next move. The three friends found a small safe house in an abandoned building. They huddled together, discussing their fears and hopes for the future. "What if we can't stop them?" Lily whispered, her voice shaking. Alex placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We have to believe in ourselves. If we don't fight back, they will take everything from us." Dr. Mia looked at her friends, determination in her eyes. "We will find a way. We are not just going to let them win." As dawn approached, the humans prepared for what was to come. They knew the huntresses would not wait long before starting their hunt. They had to act fast, or they would lose everything they cared about. The sun rose, casting a golden light over the city, but the light brought no warmth. The fear of the huntresses hung heavily in the air. The humans were ready to take a stand, knowing that the fight for their freedom was only beginning. And so, the battle between humanity and the alien huntresses began, with the fate of the world hanging in the balance. The first hunt. The sun rose over the city, but there was no joy in the bright light. People gathered in small groups, Fear etched on their faces as they spoke in hushed tones about the Huntresses. In the distance, the alien ships loomed like dark clouds, a constant reminder of the danger they faced. Zira, the leader of the Huntresses, stood on a platform built in the center of the town. Her fierce presence demanded attention as she raised her arms, calling for silence. "Today, we will begin the hunt," she declared, her voice echoing through the streets. "You humans will learn to serve us. You will run, and we will chase." Panic spread among the crowd. Mothers pulled their children close, and men exchanged worried glances. They had heard the Huntresses talk of sport, but they hadn't imagined it would be like this. This was not just a game. It was a fight for survival. Alex, Dr. Mia, and Lily watched from the shadows of a nearby building. Their hearts raced as they realized what was about to happen. "We have to do something," Lily urged, her voice barely above a whisper. "We can't just let them hunt us like animals." "We need a plan," Dr. Mia replied, her mind racing. "If we can distract them, maybe we can help some people escape." As the Huntresses prepared, the humans scattered in different directions, looking for safe places to hide. The first hunt was about to begin, and the stakes were high. Suddenly, the Huntresses released a loud horn that pierced the air, signaling the start of the hunt. The sound echoed, sending shivers down everyone's spine. The humans ran in every direction, desperately trying to find safety. But the Huntresses were quick, moving with speed and agility that humans could not match. Zira smiled as she watched the chaos unfold. "Let the games begin," she shouted. The Huntresses took off, chasing after the terrified humans. Their laughter rang out, chilling the hearts of those who heard it. In the heart of the city, Alex shouted to his friends, "This way. We can help the people over there." He pointed to a group of people trapped in an alley. They needed to get them out before the Huntresses arrived. Dr. Mia led the way, using her knowledge of the city to navigate the narrow streets. They dashed through the alleys, weaving in and out of buildings. Just as they reached the trapped group, a huntress appeared at the end of the alley. "Run!" Alex yelled. The group scrambled as the huntress charged toward them, her eyes blazing with excitement. The humans fled, and Alex made a split-second decision. "I'll hold her off. You get them to safety." "No, we can't leave you," Lily cried, panic rising in her voice. "Just go," Alex shouted, his voice firm. He turned to face the huntress, determination in his eyes. As the others ran, he grabbed a piece of debris from the ground, ready to defend himself. The huntress lunged at him, but Alex was quick. He dodged to the side and threw the debris at her. It struck her shoulder, causing her to stumble. She turned, her eyes narrowing as she focused on him. Meanwhile, Dr. Mia led the group of frightened humans to safety behind a large dumpster. "Stay quiet," she instructed. "We need to wait until it's safe to move." As Alex fought off the huntress, he felt a surge of adrenaline. He knew he had to keep her busy long enough for his friends to help the others. He backed away slowly, trying to buy time. "You'll have to catch me first," he taunted. The huntress snarled, anger flashing in her eyes. "You think you can escape me, human?" She lunged again, but Alex was ready. He dodged and maneuvered through the alley, leading her away from the others. Just then, Lily and Dr. Mia rejoined him, breathless but determined. "We're not leaving you behind," Lily declared. They worked together, using their knowledge of the city to outsmart the huntress. Alex led the way, dodging and weaving through the streets. With every turn, they felt the thrill of the chase, but also the weight of fear pushing down on them. Finally, they spotted a side entrance to an old warehouse. "In there," Dr. Mia shouted, pointing. They rushed inside, slamming the door shut behind them. The huntress crashed against the door, her frustration evident as she tried to break through. Inside the warehouse, the humans took a moment to catch their breath. They huddled together, fear still coursing through their veins, but a newfound determination filling their hearts. "We need to regroup and plan," Alex said, looking at his friends. "This is just the beginning. We can't let them win. As they strategized in the dim light, they knew the fight was far from over. The hunt had started, but they were not ready to give up. Together, they would find a way to turn the tables on the Huntresses and protect their home. Underground resistance. The warehouse felt like a refuge, but it was just a temporary safe haven. The air was thick with tension as Alex, Dr. Mia, and Lily gathered their thoughts. Outside, the Huntresses continued to search for them, their laughter chilling the air. "We need to organize," Dr. Maya said, her voice steady despite the fear swirling around them. "If we are going to stand a chance, we must form a resistance." Lily looked at her with wide eyes. "But how? We're just a small group. The Huntresses are so strong." Alex placed a hand on her shoulder. "We are stronger together. We can find more people who want to fight back. We're not alone." As the three friends spoke, they began to plan. They would reach out to others hiding from the Huntresses, anyone who was willing to fight for their freedom. They knew there were other survivors in the city, and they needed to find them. Once they felt ready, they slipped out of the warehouse, moving cautiously through the back streets. They avoided main roads, knowing the Huntresses were patrolling heavily. Each shadow made them jump, but they pressed on, determined to find others. After hours of searching, they stumbled upon a small group of survivors hiding in an abandoned subway station. The dim lights flickered above them as they huddled together, their faces pale with fear and exhaustion. Alex stepped forward, raising his hands in a sign of peace. "We're here to help. We want to fight back against the Huntresses." One man, tall and rugged, stepped out from the shadows. "And how do you plan to do that? They are powerful, and we are scared." Dr. Mia spoke up, her voice firm. "We have to fight together. If we combine our skills and knowledge, we can create a plan to resist them." The man nodded slowly, considering their words. "I'm Ben. We've been hiding here for weeks, but it's getting worse. They're hunting us like animals." Lily stepped forward, her eyes shining with determination. "We can help. We've faced them before and survived. We just need a chance." Ben looked around at the frightened faces in the group. He could see the hope flickering in their eyes. "All right, if you think we can do this, I'm in, but we need a solid plan." The group began to discuss ideas. They shared stories of their experiences with the Huntresses, learning from each other's encounters. As the conversation flowed, fear slowly transformed into determination. They were ready to fight back. After hours of planning, they decided to form the underground resistance. They would gather supplies, weapons, and information. They needed to be prepared for anything. Each person would have a role. Some would scout for resources, while others would work on building makeshift weapons from what they could find. Days passed, and the resistance grew. More and more people joined their cause. They set up a network of safe houses across the city. News spread of the Huntresses' weaknesses, and hope blossomed among the humans. One evening, as the group met in the subway station, Dr. Maya stood up to address everyone. "We have made great progress, but we need to remember that we are not just fighting for ourselves. We are fighting for our families, our friends, and everyone who cannot fight back." The crowd erupted in murmurs of agreement. Lily raised her hand, her voice strong. "We need to remind the Huntresses that we are not prey. We are humans, and we will not back down." Alex smiled, feeling the energy of the group. "We will plan our first big operation. We'll take back a part of the city to show them we can fight." As they made their plans, a young girl named Mia, who had joined them recently, stood up. "Can I help too? I want to do something." The room fell silent for a moment. Then Ben spoke gently. "Of course you can help. Everyone can play a part in this fight, no matter how small." Mia beamed with pride, feeling included in something important. With newfound hope, they set their plan into action. They gathered supplies, weapons, and information from the city. They practiced their skills, learning how to move quietly and evade detection. The resistance grew stronger each day, building confidence as they faced the challenge ahead. One night, as they gathered around a small fire in the subway station, Alex spoke up. "We will make our move soon. The Huntresses will see that we are not afraid. Together, we are powerful." The group cheered, their voices echoing in the dark. They were no longer just hiding. They were preparing to fight back against their oppressors. The underground resistance had been born, and they were ready to take a stand. With unity and courage, they believed they could turn the tide in this battle for their survival. The days turned into weeks, and the underground resistance grew stronger. People from all over the city joined their cause, sharing their skills and knowledge. They had transformed from frightened individuals into a united group ready to fight back against the alien Huntresses. One evening, the resistance gathered in their subway station hideout. Dr. Mia had called a meeting to discuss their next big operation. The atmosphere was charged with excitement and nervous energy. Alex stood at the front, looking at the faces of his friends and fellow fighters. "Tonight, we're going to take action," he announced, his voice steady. "We have a plan to raid one of the Huntresses' camps. We know they have supplies and weapons we can use. This is our chance to show them we will not be hunted any longer." Lily clapped her hands together, her enthusiasm contagious. "Yes, we need those weapons. We can use them to protect ourselves and help others." Dr. Mia raised her hand to quiet the group. "We must be careful. We've learned a lot about the Huntresses, but they are still dangerous. We need to stick to the plan and watch each other's backs." As the meeting continued, they outlined their strategy. They would split into teams, using stealth to approach the Huntress camp at night. Each team had a specific role. Some would create distractions while others gathered supplies. The excitement in the air was palpable, but so was the fear. As they prepared to leave, Mia, the young girl from their group, approached Alex. "Can I come with you?" "I want to help," she said, her voice filled with determination. Alex knelt down to her level. "It's going to be dangerous, Mia. I want you to stay here where it's safe. But I want to fight," she insisted, her eyes bright with hope. "I want to show them we can win." He smiled softly, appreciating her bravery. "I admire your courage, but we need to keep you safe. You can help by watching over the others here. Make sure everyone is ready when we return." Mia looked disappointed, but she nodded, understanding the importance of her role. That night, the resistance moved under the cover of darkness, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. They crept through the city, staying in the shadows and avoiding the Huntresses' patrols. As they neared the camp, Alex felt the weight of the moment. This was a significant step for the resistance. They had trained for this, and now it was time to put their plan into action. The camp was illuminated by bright lights, revealing the Huntresses lounging and laughing, unaware of the danger approaching. Alex signaled to his team, and they took their positions. "Now," he whispered. Lily and a few others moved in, creating a loud noise to draw the Huntresses' attention. They knocked over crates and shouted, making it sound like a much larger group was attacking. The Huntresses looked up, surprised and angry, rushing to investigate the disturbance. While the Huntresses were distracted, Alex and his team slipped into the camp. They quickly searched for weapons and supplies. The adrenaline rushed through Alex's veins as he spotted a stash of powerful energy weapons. They would need these if they were to fight back effectively. "Over here," he called to the others, and they quickly gathered around him. They loaded up their bags with as much as they could carry. But just as they were about to leave, a huntress spotted them. "Intruders," she shouted, her voice slicing through the night. Panic surged through Alex's chest. "Run," he yelled, grabbing Lily's arm. They sprinted back toward the exit, the sound of their heartbeats drowning out everything else. The Huntresses chased after them, their footsteps thundering behind. Alex and Lily dodged between tents and crates, trying to find a way out of the camp. They could hear the Huntresses closing in, but they refused to give up. Suddenly, Alex spotted a gap in the camp's perimeter. "This way," he shouted, leading the group toward the opening. They burst through the gap and ran into the cover of the trees outside the camp. Breathing heavily, they pressed on, not stopping until they were sure they were far enough away. As they reached a safe spot, they fell to the ground, panting. Alex looked around at his friends, a mix of relief and disbelief washing over him. "We did it," he exclaimed, grinning. Lily held up a powerful energy weapon, her eyes shining with excitement. "We actually got them." Dr. Mia smiled, pride swelling in her heart. "This is just the beginning. We showed the Huntresses that we can fight back. We can take control of our fate." As the night faded into dawn, the Resistance felt a glimmer of hope. They had faced danger and survived, proving to themselves and to each other that they were more than just prey. They were fighters, united in their determination to reclaim their world. With renewed strength, they knew they could continue to stand against the Huntresses. The fight was far from over, but now they had hope, and hope was a powerful weapon. The Huntresses' perspective. High above the city, the Huntresses watched from their sleek ships. They were a fierce race, skilled and strong, known across the galaxy for their hunting prowess. Zyra, the leader, stood at the front of her ship, her sharp eyes scanning the ground below. She could sense the fear and chaos in the air, but she also felt something else: defiance. "Why do these humans resist?" Zyra mused, her voice low and contemplative. "They are weak, yet they fight back with such tenacity. It is almost amusing." Her second in command, a huntress named Kayla, stepped forward. "They are scared, Zyra, but they are learning to fight. We cannot underestimate them. They have begun to organize, and they are starting to find ways to strike back." Zyra's lips curled into a smirk. "Let them try. We are the Huntresses. We have faced greater challenges than this. Their resistance will only make the hunt more exciting." As they prepared for another day of searching, Zyra ordered her team to patrol the city. They flew over the streets, their ships gliding silently above the chaos. They could see humans running and hiding, their movements frantic and desperate. The Huntresses thrived on this fear, finding pleasure in the thrill of the chase. However, something had changed. Each time they attacked, the humans seemed to be more prepared. They were becoming more difficult to catch, and it frustrated Zyra. "These humans are adapting," she said, her tone hardening. "We must remind them of their place." Kayla nodded. "I suggest we make an example of those who resist. Show them that defiance leads to punishment." Zyra considered this. "Yes, a demonstration of power. We will target their underground resistance. Let them see that we are not to be trifled with." Her eyes gleamed with excitement at the thought of the hunt ahead. That evening, the Huntresses descended upon the subway station where the Resistance gathered. They approached silently, their ships cloaked in shadows. As they landed nearby, the Huntresses could feel the energy in the air. The humans had no idea what was coming for them. "We will strike quickly," Zyra instructed her team. "We want to create fear, not just capture. Let them know that their efforts are futile." As they moved toward the station, Kayla felt a surge of excitement. "I can't wait to see their faces when they realize we are upon them." Inside the subway station, the Resistance was planning their next move. They had gathered around a makeshift table, discussing strategies and sharing supplies. The atmosphere was filled with hope and determination, but it was about to be shattered. Suddenly, the ground shook as the Huntresses burst into the station, their laughter echoing off the walls. The humans froze, panic gripping them as they realized what was happening. "Look at these pathetic creatures," Zyra taunted, her voice booming. "You thought you could hide from us. You thought you could fight back. You are only delaying the inevitable." The humans scrambled to escape, their fear palpable. Alex, Dr. Mia, and Lily quickly organized the others, urging them to find safety. But the Huntresses were too fast. They split up, each Huntress taking on a different group of humans. Kayla chased after a group of young fighters, their faces filled with terror. She relished the chase, her instincts kicking in as she hunted them down. The thrill of the hunt was intoxicating, pushing her to run faster, to close the gap between them. Meanwhile, Zyra focused on the leaders of the resistance. "You think you can defy us? You are nothing but prey," she shouted, her voice echoing through the station. Dr. Mia and Alex fought back, but they were outmatched. The Huntresses were stronger and faster, their training evident in every move. Zyra knocked Dr. Mia aside with a swift motion, causing her to fall to the ground. "Pathetic," Zyra sneered, her eyes glinting with excitement. "You should have known your place." Just as she was about to strike, Lily stepped forward, brandishing a weapon they had stolen during their previous raid. "We won't back down," she shouted, determination shining in her eyes. Zyra laughed, a chilling sound. "You think you can challenge us? This is only the beginning. You will learn to fear us." As the Huntresses continued their assault, the resistance fought back with everything they had. But it was clear that they were outmatched. The thrill of the hunt coursed through the Huntresses, fueling their determination. When the dust finally settled, the Huntresses stood victorious. They had sent a message to the humans. Resistance was futile. They were the hunters, and the humans would always be their prey. Zyra looked over the defeated resistance members, satisfaction washing over her. "Let this be a lesson," she said, her voice cold. "We will return. And next time, you will not escape." With that, the Huntresses left, the echoes of their laughter lingering in the air. In the aftermath, the humans were left shaken. But deep down, they knew this battle was not the end. They would rise again, fueled by a glimmer of hope that refused to be extinguished. The Great Battle. The resistance was shaken but not broken. After the Huntresses' attack, the humans gathered in their subway station hideout, a mix of fear and anger swirling in the air. They knew they had to act quickly. The Huntresses would return, and they needed a plan. Alex stood in front of the group, his heart pounding with determination. "We can't let fear control us. We must fight back harder than ever before. If we want to take back our city, we need to unite our strength and courage." Dr. Mia stepped forward, her voice steady. "We have to create a strategy for the battle. We know their weaknesses now, and we can use that to our advantage. We will fight for our freedom." The resistance members exchanged glances, a spark of hope igniting in their eyes. They were ready to stand and fight. As they began to prepare, Lily spoke up. "What if we draw them into the open? We could set traps and ambush them when they least expect it." Alex nodded. "That's a great idea. We can lure them away from their ships and make the battlefield our own. We need to gather all the supplies and weapons we can find. This will be our moment to show them we won't be pushed around anymore." Days passed as the resistance worked tirelessly, fortifying their hideout and gathering supplies. They set traps throughout the city, ready to lead the Huntresses into their carefully planned ambush. As the sun set on the day of the battle, the tension in the air was palpable. The resistance members took their positions, hiding in the shadows. They could hear the faint sounds of the Huntresses approaching, their laughter ringing through the streets. Zyra and her team had returned, eager to hunt down the humans once again. "Are you ready?" Alex whispered to Dr. Mia and Lily, who nodded, determination shining in their eyes. As the Huntresses neared, the resistance executed their plan. They activated their traps, creating loud noises and flashing lights to attract the Huntresses' attention. The Huntresses looked around, confused and excited, their instincts kicking in. "Let's go. They've taken the bait," Zyra shouted, leading her team into the heart of the trap. The resistance members sprang into action, surrounding the Huntresses. They launched their makeshift weapons, catching the Huntresses off guard. The surprise attack sent the Huntresses reeling back, but they quickly recovered, their training kicking in. Kayla, fiercely determined, lunged at Alex. He dodged her, his heart racing as he fought to hold his ground. "We can't let them win," he shouted to his friends, rallying the resistance around him. Dr. Maya fired her energy weapon, hitting one of the Huntresses and causing her to stumble. "Keep fighting. We can do this," she cried, urging the others forward. The battle raged on, the sound of energy blasts and shouts echoing through the streets. The resistance fought valiantly, but the Huntresses were relentless. Zyra and Kayla pushed forward, determined to crush the uprising. As the fight continued, Alex spotted Mia, the young girl who had wanted to help in the previous battles. She had stayed behind to support the others, but now he saw her watching from a safe distance. "Mia, stay back," he shouted, not wanting her to get hurt. But Mia, fueled by bravery, picked up a fallen weapon and joined the fight, her determination shining brightly. "I want to help. I'm not afraid." Seeing her courage inspired the resistance members. They fought harder, pushing back against the Huntresses with everything they had. The tide of the battle began to shift as they worked together, using their knowledge of the city and the traps they had set. Zyra, furious at the unexpected turn of events, shouted to her team, "We cannot lose to these weaklings. Show them the true power of the Huntresses." With renewed ferocity, the Huntresses fought back. Kayla tackled one of the resistance fighters, and the two struggled fiercely. But in the chaos, the resistance members rallied together, helping each other and fighting as a unit. In a moment of desperation, Alex spotted Zyra charging toward him. He steeled himself, ready to face her. "This is our city, and we will not back down," he shouted, his heart racing. The two clashed, and as they fought, Alex realized that the Huntresses were not just hunters, they were also strong warriors. But he and the resistance had something they did not: community and a shared goal. With a final surge of energy, Alex pushed Zyra back, giving him a moment to breathe. "We can win this," he called out, seeing his friends stand strong against the Huntresses. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the resistance was gaining ground. The Huntresses were caught off guard, their confidence shaken. One by one, the Huntresses began to fall back, realizing they were outnumbered. Zyra, furious but forced to retreat, growled at her team, "This is not over. We will return, and you will learn your place." With that, the Huntresses fled, leaving the resistance victorious in their first great battle. Cheers erupted among the humans as they celebrated their hard-won victory, a fire of hope igniting in their hearts. They had stood against their oppressors and triumphed. For the first time in a long while, the resistance believed they could reclaim their city. Together, they would continue to fight, knowing that the struggle was far from over. But now, they had hope and a taste of victory. The battle for their freedom had only just begun. Turning the tide. After their hard-fought victory, the resistance felt a wave of hope wash over them. The subway station was alive with energy as everyone celebrated. They had turned the tide, proving they could fight back against the Huntresses. Alex, Dr. Mia, Lily, and the others gathered to discuss their next steps. "We need to keep this momentum going," Alex said, standing at the front of the group. "The Huntresses will not give up easily. We must prepare for their return and gather more allies." Dr. Mia nodded in agreement. "We should spread the word. If we can unite more humans, we can strengthen our numbers. We need to show them that resistance is possible." Lily raised her hand. "I can help with that. I know people in other parts of the city. We can organize rallies and spread the message. Everyone deserves to know they can fight back." With a plan in motion, the resistance set to work. They divided into teams, each tasked with spreading hope and gathering new fighters. Some went out to reach out to other groups hiding in the city, while others stayed behind to prepare for the Huntresses' return. Days turned into weeks as the resistance grew. They recruited more fighters, strengthening their ranks. People from all walks of life joined them, inspired by the recent victory. They were no longer just scared individuals. They were part of a movement. As the resistance grew, so did their training. Alex and Dr. Mia led sessions, teaching others how to fight and use the weapons they had acquired. They practiced strategies and drills, ensuring everyone was ready for the next encounter with the Huntresses. One evening, as they gathered in the subway station, Alex stood before the group, his heart racing. "We have come a long way, but we need to be smarter. The Huntresses will come back, and we must be ready to face them again. They will not underestimate us this time." Just then, a young fighter named Jack stepped forward. "I heard a rumor that the Huntresses are planning a large attack. They want to take back control of the city before we can organize. We need to strike first." Dr. Maya looked thoughtful. "If we can gather intelligence on their movements, we might be able to surprise them. We could even intercept them before they reach our hideout." The group agreed, energized by the idea of taking the fight to the Huntresses. They decided to send a small team to scout the area, looking for signs of the Huntresses. Alex, Lily, and Jax volunteered to go. As night fell, the three of them crept through the city, using the shadows to stay hidden. They moved silently, listening for any signs of the Huntresses. After a few hours of searching, they spotted a group of Huntresses gathering near one of their ships. "There they are," Jax whispered, pointing at the Huntresses. They were laughing and chatting, completely unaware of the danger lurking nearby. Alex motioned for them to stay low as they listened to the Huntresses' conversation. Zira was speaking with her team, her voice filled with anger. "Those humans think they can resist us. We will crush their spirits once and for all. Prepare for an all-out assault tomorrow. We will show them the true power of the Huntresses." The three humans exchanged worried glances. They knew they had to act fast. "We need to warn the others," Alex said urgently. "If they plan to attack, we have to be ready." They hurried back to the subway station, adrenaline pumping through their veins. When they arrived, the resistance was gathered for their nightly meeting. Alex quickly stepped forward, catching everyone's attention. "The Huntresses are planning a major attack for tomorrow," he shouted. "We need to prepare ourselves and set up defenses. We cannot let them take us by surprise again." The room filled with gasps and whispers of concern. Dr. Maya stepped forward, her voice strong. "We have trained hard, and now we must put that training to use. We will stand together and defend our home. We can't let fear stop us." The resistance members nodded, a renewed sense of determination filling the air. They quickly divided tasks, setting up traps and barricades around the subway station. They'd fortified their defenses, knowing that tomorrow would be a test of everything they had learned. That night, as they settled in for the battle ahead, Alex couldn't sleep. He looked around at his friends, their faces set with determination and courage. They had come so far together, and now they were ready to face the Huntresses again. As dawn broke, the resistance was ready. They took their positions, hearts pounding with anticipation. They knew the Huntresses would be coming, and they were determined to stand their ground. Just then, a loud noise echoed through the streets. The Huntresses had arrived, their ships soaring overhead. As they landed, Zara stepped out, her fierce gaze sweeping over the resistance. "You think you can defy us again?" she shouted, her voice carrying through the air. "You will regret this day." But Alex and the resistance stood tall, their resolve unshaken. They had come too far to back down now. "We will fight for our freedom." Alex yelled back, and the resistance roared in agreement. The battle had begun, and this time, the humans were ready. They would show the Huntresses that they were no longer prey. They were warriors, united and unyielding in their fight for survival. Aftermath and reflection. The battle was fierce, but in the end, the resistance stood victorious once again. The Huntresses, surprised by the human strength and determination, had retreated, leaving behind chaos and confusion. The subway station, once a place of fear, now felt alive with the spirit of triumph. As the dust settled, Alex, Dr. Mia, and Lily emerged from their hiding spots, their hearts pounding. They had fought hard, and now they could breathe a little easier. The humans cheered, their voices echoing through the station, celebrating their victory. But beneath the cheers, a heavy weight lingered in the air. Alex looked around at his friends, realizing that victory had come at a cost. He could see the exhaustion on their faces, the signs of battle etched into their bodies and spirits. "We won, but we need to take care of each other," he said, raising his voice above the cheers. Dr. Mia nodded, stepping forward. "We need to assess the damage and help anyone who was hurt. Victory means nothing if we don't support one another." Lily chimed in. "Let's check on everyone. We need to make sure our friends are safe and healthy." With a renewed sense of purpose, the resistance members began to help one another. They tended to the injured, sharing supplies and bandages. The bond among them grew stronger as they worked together, proving that they were a true community. Later that evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the city, Alex gathered everyone for a meeting. They all sat in a circle, their faces lit by the flickering light of makeshift torches. "I want to take a moment to reflect on what we've achieved," Alex began. "We have shown the Huntresses that we will not back down. We have fought for our freedom, and we will continue to fight." Dr. Mia spoke up, her voice steady. "But we must also remember those who were hurt in the battle. We need to honor their bravery and support them as they heal. Together, we can make sure everyone feels safe and valued." A hush fell over the group as they thought about the battle's toll. Many had fought bravely, but some had suffered injuries, and a few had been captured by the Huntresses. The loss weighed heavily on their hearts. Lily raised her hand, her eyes shining with determination. "We should remember their names. We can honor them by sharing their stories. Every person in our community matters." As they shared stories of their fallen friends and brave fighters, a sense of unity filled the room. Each story was a reminder of the sacrifices made for freedom, a testament to the strength of their community. They all vowed to fight for those who could not. After the meeting, Alex found a quiet spot in the subway station. He looked out at the city, now shrouded in twilight. The streets were still, but he could feel the energy of his friends behind him. They were building something special together, a movement that would not be easily stopped. In the days that followed, the resistance focused on rebuilding and healing. They shared food, provided medical care, and supported one another in their recovery. The subway station became a hub of hope, where ideas and plans flourished. Dr. Mia worked tirelessly to care for the injured, ensuring they received the help they needed. "It's important that we take care of each other," she would remind everyone. "Our strength lies in our unity." As the resistance prepared for future battles, they also took time to reflect on their journey. They had come a long way from the fearful individuals hiding in the shadows. Now they were a force to be reckoned with, determined to reclaim their city. One evening, while sitting around a fire, Alex shared his thoughts. "We have learned so much through our struggles. We know our strengths, and we know our weaknesses. But more importantly, we know we are stronger together. We must keep this spirit alive." The group nodded in agreement, their faces illuminated by the firelight. They understood that their fight was not just against the Huntresses, it was for their home, their community, and their future. As weeks turned into months, the resistance continued to grow. They organized training sessions, educated new fighters, and spread their message throughout the city. They showed others that they could stand up against their oppressors and fight for their rights. Though they faced many challenges, the spirit of hope remained strong within them. They knew that every battle would bring new lessons and new opportunities to grow. The Huntresses were still out there, lurking in the shadows, but the resistance was ready. In the quiet moments of reflection, Alex, Dr. Mia, and Lily often reminded one another of their shared goal. They were not just fighting to survive, they were fighting to thrive, to create a world where everyone could live freely. Together, they would turn the tide, and nothing could stop them. A new dawn. The sun began to rise, casting a warm glow over the city. It was a new day, and with it came a sense of hope and possibility. The resistance had worked hard to rebuild their community, and now they were ready to take the next step in their fight against the Huntresses. Alex stood at the entrance of the subway station, gazing at the horizon. The air felt different today, charged with anticipation. He could feel the strength of his friends behind him, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. It was time to reclaim their city. As he turned to gather the others, he noticed Dr. Mia organizing supplies for their next mission. She was determined and focused, her brow furrowed in concentration. "We need to scout the Huntresses' movements and gather more information," she said as he approached. "If we know where they are, we can plan our next strike." Lily joined them, her eyes shining with excitement. "I've been talking to people outside the subway. Many are ready to join our cause. They've seen what we can do, and they want to help." The three of them exchanged smiles, the energy of their unity fueling their determination. With a plan forming, they gathered the rest of the resistance. The station buzzed with anticipation as everyone prepared for the day ahead. In the morning meeting, Alex stood at the front. "Today is a new dawn for us. We have fought hard to protect our home, and we will not stop now. We have new allies joining us, and together we will show the Huntresses that we are not afraid." Cheers erupted from the group, their spirits lifting. They were ready to face the Huntresses and reclaim their city. With their hearts full of hope, they set out, united in their cause. As they moved through the city, they noticed the changes around them. Buildings that had once felt oppressive now seemed to hold promise. People peeked out of their homes, watching the resistance pass by with curiosity. The word had spread about their victories, and hope was beginning to flourish. After a few hours, they reached a high vantage point where they could see the Huntresses' ship. It was docked at a nearby site, surrounded by a few guards. Alex and the others crouched down, scanning the area for weaknesses. "This is our chance," Alex whispered. "If we can take down their ship, it will cripple their ability to attack us." Dr. Mia nodded, her eyes scanning the guards. "We need a distraction. If we can draw the guards away, we can move in and sabotage their ship." Lily raised her hand, her face lighting up with an idea. "I can create a distraction. I'll throw something to make a loud noise, and when they go to check it out, you can sneak in." The plan was set. Lily gathered some rocks and moved into position, ready to create the distraction. As she prepared, Alex and Dr. Mia took their places, hearts racing with anticipation. With a deep breath, Lily threw the rocks, creating a loud crash nearby. The guards turned, confusion evident on their faces. "What was that?" one of them shouted, and they rushed toward the noise, leaving their post unguarded. "Now," Alex commanded, and he and Dr. Mia sprinted toward the ship. They moved quickly, adrenaline pumping through their veins. As they reached the ship, they spotted the control panel. "We need to shut this down," Dr. Mia said, her fingers flying over the buttons. "If we can disable their systems, they won't be able to call for backup." As they worked, they could hear the guards shouting in the distance, realizing they had been tricked. Panic set in as they raced back to the ship, but it was too late. The resistance was already inside. Just then, the ship's alarm blared, echoing through the area. "We need to hurry," Alex urged. "They'll be back any second." With one final push, Dr. Mia disabled the ship's systems. "It's done. We did it," she exclaimed, a huge smile spreading across her face. But their victory was short-lived. The guards were returning, and they needed to escape. Alex grabbed Dr. Mia's hand, and they dashed out of the ship just as the guards appeared. "We can't fight them here," Lily shouted, leading the way back to their hiding spot. They ran through the streets, their hearts racing. When they reached the subway station, the resistance members cheered for their bravery. They had managed to cripple the Huntresses' ship, giving their community a chance to breathe. As they celebrated their victory, Alex felt a sense of pride swell within him. They had come so far, and with each battle, they were growing stronger. Underneath the surface of the celebration, he knew they still had challenges ahead. The Huntresses would not give up easily, but now they had hope and unity on their side. As the sun set, painting the sky with colors of orange and purple, Alex looked around at his friends. They were no longer just survivors. They were warriors, fighting for a future they could all share. With determination in their hearts, they vowed to keep fighting, to protect their city, and to stand up for one another. Together, they were ready to face whatever came next. The dawn of a new era was upon them, and they were ready to embrace it. The fight for their freedom was far from over, but now they had the strength of their community behind them. Together, they would shape a brighter future, one battle at a time.